So welcome to this class in which that is lecture number 5, and in this class we will see two important theorems, that is Thevenin and Norton theorem, and these are quite fundamental to electrical engineering. Before actually stating or explaining the theorem, we'll first see what is the context in which this theorem is applied. So if you see this this circuit, in this circuit, if you see, I have deliberately drawn this circuit to say that it is a slightly complicated circuit. And if you have such a complicated circuit or more complicated than this, then our important point here which is there, you can see it is having all kind of sources and resistances, current sources and voltage sources. The important point of interest here is this point A and B. Okay, so these terminals or these 2 points A and B has certain importance in a way that this resistance R3, what we are trying to do is this resistance R3 will be changing. Okay, so R3 is changing, and for this changing resistance we want to calculate the value of I, or say the value of resistance across this R3. So when R3 is changing, we want to know what would be the value of current through it for a complicated circuit. If R3 was fixed, that is, this was to be applied only once, that means we want to find current once or the voltage once, then we could go by using any of the methods which we have done, that is, you can have loop analysis or mesh analysis, okay, or you can go with node analysis, or you can apply superposition, whatever way you find it easier. You can always do any of these 3 methods and find what could be the current or voltages across R3. Issue is, when R3 changes, we have to again resort to the same set of equations, rewrite those equations with changed value of R3, and again find I. So if R3 is changing for different values, that many times you will have to write the equations and find this current. But essentially what we see here is the most of the circuit remains unchanged except for the value of R3. Okay, so in this situation, this concept of Thevenin and Norton theorems come in handy. Now let us see what it says. This Thevenin theorem says that if you have a complicated circuit like this, and if you are able to find the points of interest, that is A and B, okay, then any complicated circuit, okay, any complicated circuit, so this complicated circuit up to this point, okay, this whole set can be put into a box, and let's say this is terminal A and B, okay, and this box, which is a complicated circuit, okay, can be changed or can be represented by a source, a voltage source. Of course, when I say voltage source, I mean here practical voltage source, that is a source and a resistance along with this, and these points A and B. So this complicated circuit can be represented by a very simple source, or you can call a practical source having voltage and resistance along with it. Okay, so whole of that complicated circuit can be represented by a source and an equivalent resistance. Okay, that resistance is called R equivalent, that is representing the circuit, and the source is VTH or V Thevenin. This source is called Thevenin source. Okay, now the issue is how to find this representation, and that is precisely what Thevenin theorem states. That means a circuit can be represented by a simply a source or a practical source, or you can say an ideal source with an equivalent resistance connected to it, and the terminals of interest, of course, are there. So once you are able to represent this complicated network into its Thevenin equivalent, then this becomes a very simple circuit, isn't it? this becomes quite simple circuit in which you have to just add A, B, and you can have a very simple formula. For example, in this case R3 is always changing and I want to find the current, then the current will be given by I VTH, whatever is VTH, upon R equivalent plus R, and you go on changing the value of R and you go on getting the values of I. So that the simple circuit comes in handy to help us in certain condition where a particular very small part of circuit is changing again and again. We can find the value of current or voltage as the case may be. Okay, now the issue is how this simplified representation or the Thevenin representation of circuit is done. Okay, so that is how this equivalent voltage or Thevenin voltage is found out and how this equivalent resistance is found out. So there are 2 points here. First point is how to calculate VTH, okay, or the Thevenin equivalent voltage, and the second part is how to calculate the equivalent resistance. Now if this is the complicated network for which we are interested to find the Thevenin equivalent, and these are the terminal in the network across which this voltage Thevenin equivalent is sought, then what we do is this network we try to find what would be the voltage coming across A and B. Okay, so if you go back to that here, we'll find what will be the voltage across A and B for this network, and that is kept as VAB, or that itself is VTH. Okay, so you have to calculate the voltage coming across this in this complicated network, and that is done only once, please remember, not all the time. You have to find VTH, and then second part which you have to find out is how much would be the resistance R equivalent. Okay, and this R equivalent is found out by seeing the terminals, across the terminals, how much resistance is there across these terminals, and this resistance is found by this network should have no independent sources. So all the independent sources are removed from this complicated network, and when all the independent sources are removed, then we are left with only the passive element as well as dependent sources, and in that presence we should be able to find out R equivalent, and that is the R equivalent for the Thevenin equivalent. Okay, so that is how you can find. So once R equivalent and Thevenin equivalent has been found, now it becomes a very simple circuit, and that is representing this whole complicated network as far as terminals A and B are concerned. So let us take a small example, a simple example to understand the things in this context. Here if you see, I am assuming that we are interested in A and B. These are the two terminals, and this RL, the load resistance, goes on changing. Okay, and the remaining circuit is a complicated circuit. That is what we are assuming, and I have to represent this circuit across A and B so that I can calculate the values of current in RL. So basically the question is, I have to make a equivalent Thevenin equivalent of that circuit. Okay, so when I remove this RL, because this RL will be changing again and again, that means I have to find the the equivalence across A and B, so that RL is removed. Then A and B are there, these two terminals are there, and I have to first find out what is the voltage across A and B. And if you see the voltage across A and B, you can easily calculate the voltage to be, this is very simple circuit. So basically it is voltage across 6 volts, because this is no current is flowing in this and only current is flowing in this. So across the 6 ohm resistance, whatever is the voltage, that is also the voltage across A and B, and that is what is calculated over here. That is total current, 12 upon 3 plus 6 multiplied by 6, that is A volt is a Thevenin equivalent voltage for this particular circuit across A and B. And now we have to find what will be the equivalent resistance. Now to find the equivalent resistance, I have to remove, or all these sources are made equal to 0. All the sources here means actual sources are only independent sources. Dependent sources are in fact reflection of independent sources. So we are not, whenever we say sources are removed, then what I mean here is the independent sources. Here there is one independent voltage source, and that is to be removed from the circuit, and across A and B we find R equivalent. So when you are removing this 12 volt source, we have already seen in superposition theorem, removal of a voltage source means wherever the voltage source was connected, that terminals are to be short circuited, that is voltage is to be made 0 around that, and that is the resulting circuit. And if you say it is basically connection of resistances, and for that you can find the value of R equivalent. And R equivalent, if you see, this is nothing but a parallel and a series combination. These two are in parallel and in series with 7 ohm resistance, and that is the equivalent resistance would come out to be 9. So the equivalent Thevenin network would be something like that, 8 volt, and with that a 9 ohm resistance, a practical equivalent source. Now if you want to find the equivalence, is it really working out or not, you can put the value of some RLs in this circuit. Okay, you can verify this, it is working out or not for this circuit at least. That means you have some value of RL, try to calculate what is the current flowing in that RL, and you can use then this circuit, plug in the value of RL here also, and you can find out if the current must be exactly same. That is what Thevenin network actually gives. Okay, now let us see some important points related to Thevenin theorem. The only restriction we must impose on network A and B. So if here what we are saying here is, this is a complicated network and this is A and B, and across this it is not only a resistance we add, we could be interested in adding say another network B. So if this is A and this is B, so these are terminals say C and D. These are two network A and B which are to be joined. Okay, and here we mean there is A and B, and this B network is going to be joined across the terminal CD of network A. To do this, if you are trying to find the effect on B by finding equivalent Thevenin network of network A, then we must be sure that B and A should not have anything in common, so which affects A. Okay, so nothing should be in B that affects A, or nothing should be there in A which affects B. Okay, that means if A has a dependent source, its dependency should not be in B, then only you can find equivalent Thevenin for A. If you want to find it removing B. Okay, because while finding Thevenin equivalent, you will remove this part of the circuit and then find the equivalent for this circuit, that is complicated circuit A. Now the issue is, if there is some dependent source in A or sources in A which depends on the variable in B, then you cannot do this. Okay, so that is a restriction. If it is simple resistance, there is no problem. If it is any other kind of thing, there is no problem. We could have any kind of sources, except for the fact that A and B should not have any kind of coupling or sharing of variables, basically for dependent sources. So if you have A and B two networks, then all the dependent sources in A must have their control variables in network A. Okay, so whatever is the dependent source here, it should depend in network A only, and whatever is dependent source in B should depend on network B only. Okay, so that is important point which we should note while we are separating two networks for finding Thevenin equivalent. While finding equivalent resistance of a network, all the independent sources are zeroed out. What do we mean by zeroed out? That means if it is a voltage source, okay, voltage source, when we say voltage source, it is basically independent voltage source that has to be represented by a short circuit. Okay, short those terminal of voltage source together, and that is how you remove a voltage source. Similarly, if it is an independent current source, then in that case you have to keep the terminals open wherever the current source was connected. So that is how you zero out all the sources for the independent sources. Dependent sources are not to be touched. It should be there in the circuit while finding the resistances. Okay, so normally people think that all the sources are to be removed, so they also remove dependent sources. So dependent sources are not to be removed. Only independent sources are to be removed while finding the R equivalent of the circuit. So I'll stop here for the first part. We'll see another example, slightly complicated example, in the next part of the lecture.